He stands, and the tranquility is broken by the bird's startling squawk. The Dolingen half smiles, beckoning with twig-like fingers. She does not speak as he approaches. His mouth is dripping sounds of awe and admiration. She waits, cool and tempting, and with agonizing slowness he is before her. Then something changes. She sees something hanging limply from his side, and begins to hiss. Fingers suddenly claws, and eyes black with hate. He has no time to reach for his axe or grimoire as she strikes, and just as soon as she strikes, she is gone. The only evidence of her existence, the shuddering wreck on the ground. He grabs at his grimoire, nevertheless, and begins to chant. But the words of a magical language of his own imagining, scribbled in a maniacal shorthand, ring hollow, and the silence continues unabated. He turns and shrugs at someone or something, but if there is something there, you do not see it. Dugan's Still Caller. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Reach out for the soul. You see a group of adventurers. I'm going to take a drink real quick, chat. Apologies. Lots of reading. You see a group of adventurers surrounded by a crowd of attacking Zaribs. This man is with them, seemingly unconcerned by the battle, even detached from it as he stands in the middle of his comrades chanting, his expression bordering on elation. His voice is powerful and deep, booming out across the combatants as a rich counterpoint to the chaos of their fighting. With every phrase, the battlefield changes. His allies grow with a pulsing blue light, freezing the Zaribs that surround them. A blazing pyre erupts from the ground, cutting and burning the creatures and sending them scattering. One of the fallen Zaribs suddenly explodes as three giant grubs crawl from its corpse and attack the remaining enemies. The man continues to chant, thoroughly enthralled in the joy of the moment. Finally, the creatures have been reduced to one. His allies stand back as the man approaches it, still chanting. He removes his hammer and swings at the Zarib. His phrase ends as the hammer connects with its head, punctuating the spell and bringing his song to an end. That was nice. Apprentice. If you want to buy something, it's Twatanu you should speak to. Bellows sigh into the furnace, and the coals burn brighter still. Is this not... Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. One second, chat. Okay, sorry. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from ruin. No setback is insurmountable, not even death itself, so long as the soul is dedicated to the task. Work hard, work well. Abaddon demands only honest labor and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft, excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so, multiply the fruits of your knowledge. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humanity and acceptance. Let adversity temper the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. Embrace your station. Fulfill the duties of your rank, and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fell at their weakest link. All loss can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge wealth anew. Value the works of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest with the hungry, and your tools with the destitute. All souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. Okay. This Amaua man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle, small ears, frame a square jaw face coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome. You're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this your shop? That it is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years, good luck and bad. Tuatanu glances at the guard standing watch along the wall. But the black hammer smithery remains. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer yet, all forged right here in the Black Hammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now, and haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them, or my workers ran off with the wagon themselves, maybe to make some coin. Tuatanu snorts. As if that lot would dare. Tuatanu scratches his jaw, thinking, if you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon, or my shipment at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. Oh, I'll find your supplies. I will actually see them back safe and sound. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord. Okay, hold on. Tuatanu, as it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Raederick. Tuatanu glances at the nearby guard. And that's as it should be. But it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. Hmm. Mhm. Even if I don't end up being a fan of Lord Raederick, I kind of like Tuatanu already, so if it keeps him in the good graces of Lord Raederick, then so be it. I'd appreciate your trying anyhow. You bring back the supplies at least, and I'll have much more to offer you. A discount to start, and if you do find my workers, you give them a good smack upside the head for me. Smith's shipment.
Hail and well met.
I'd like to see your wares, please. Of course, you won't find finer anywhere else. Oh. This is big money stuff. Big monies. Ah, so you can retrain, as Mad told us. Right there. Look at all the things. Hey, Glacier, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. How are you? How's your day going? I like the emote. It's good stuff. We don't really have enough to be doing much of anything here right now, but we do have a lot of stuff in our stash. But can't even access that, can we? We can't. Yeah, let's sell some of this stuff that we don't necessarily need. These small shields. Get rid of a few daggers. Good to see you, Glacier. Hope you're having a good day. Okay, here's what we do. And we're gonna grab the bows. Why is it not letting me shift click them into my inventory? That's weird. Oh well. We'll drag them. Maybe I'm missing something here. Keep one dagger. Keep one bow. Goodness, we have a lot of daggers. Actually, we'll keep 2 daggers in case we come across a rogue that ends up needing 2 daggers. Ooh, so much of this stuff too. We should be able to sell mucho stuff, right?
Hello.
Yeah. That automatically, where did that go? No. That is putting that where? Back into the stash. Okay. So shift just automatically puts stuff in the stash. We know that now.
Welcome.
Okay. So we're going to sell many of the things that we don't need. There. You just click it. So much easier. Okay. Trade that. We'll go back into our inventory. Let's go back into our stash. Let's grab some. These. We'll like keep one of each. Yeah, that looks good. I need to put these on. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Not going to be as good as that. I can't wear any of those. We'll hold on to them for now. All of this. It's no better. That ought to work for now. Should work. Let's sell that stuff.
Well met, friend.
See your wares. Trade. Now let's just make sure there's nothing that we want here. Hold wall. Dude, some of this stuff is very expensive. We probably shouldn't buy anything until we... I wonder if this stuff changes as well. Like if this is random. Oh, camping supplies. I'm just gonna hold up. Pardon. Oh. Wow. Wow, chat. I didn't need to. Yeah. Well. Okay. Now I know. I made that much harder than it needed to be. Go back to center. Let's go out of here. Got some of our stuff out of our inventory. That's good. Take my last bite here, chat. I like the Glacier Leviathan just comes in, emotes at tentacle, and bounces. Or I don't know if he bounced. He might still be here, but that's it. I love it. Okay. Let's work our way up here. Okay. Please, please, Sinner. It just does not want to stay. We take that. Somebody just leaving a bunch of beer out in the crate? That's my beer. Okay. Talk to people's first. Ingrid. This man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices your approach and pauses, her smile faltering.
How do you do?
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man, Nantan? Nantan shakes his head. I don't believe so. Is there something you wanted, stranger? You seem to be in a hurry. Ingrid. Yes, I imagine so. Ingrid laughs. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit Defiance Bay, and she looks at Nantan. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. I can't imagine why. Nantan reaches to take her hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. Is there anything you can tell me about Gildevel? Ingrid smiles wryly. Only that you'll want to be moving on as soon as you can. You'll have seen the tree, I imagine. But the rot goes deeper. If you were looking for work, I'd say you have a better chance of it elsewhere. And that's it. And the Dire Wood Part 2, The Broken Stone Wall. In 2626 AI, a group of farmers, while clearing farmland for planting, accidentally knocked down one of the ancient menhirs on their land. This innocent act drew the ire of the native population and started what would come to be known as the Broken Stone War. When it was finally over, several thousand colonists had been killed, as well as hundreds of the Glanfathans. Even though the war was technically over, the Glanfathans escalated their attacks on settlers over the next 2 years, using vicious attacks that left many colonists, several military figures, an earl, and 6 Thanes dead. Unable to stop the Glanfathan attacks, the earls elected Earl Edrang Hadrit to the position of Grief. Well respected and known to be a master of military tactics, he was tasked with dealing with the Glanfathan threat. Edrang fought with the Glanfathans, led by an Orlan named Reg, for the next 2 years. Neither side can gain the upper hand on the other, resulting in a tense stalemate between the two groups. Because of this stalemate, the hostiles slowly died off, and in 2631, the Dire Wooden people signed a treaty with the Glanfathans. Regid would step down. The Glanfathans would stop their attacks altogether. The Dire Wooden people would leave the ruins alone. This treaty angered the nobility in Adir, as it brought to a halt the supply of artifacts. Edrang also tried to get the practice of slavery outlawed, but this was not successful. Because of this, the peace between the Direwood and the Air Glanfath is uneasy and tumultuous. Small patches of rural violence still cropped up, but were easily dealt with, as neither side wanted another war. Yeah. This bottle of Sunreed is half empty. Okay. Oh, posture. Let's see here. Let's check the wind will. Frankenstein's windmill. Apparently. We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. Trumbull. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through that door, gets a shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, Swainer. I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads, but we'll be back, Trumbull. And we'll have fair prices, or by the flame, we'll have a reckoning. New task, against the grain. Let's look at that. Against the grain. Some of the farmers in the Gilded Vale claim that Trumbull the Miller is withholding grain. The hungry farmers are on edge, and it seems likely that the situation will escalate. It seems that the tensions between the miller and some local farmers are reaching a boiling point. It may be worth investigating. The miller has taken refuge inside his mill, and the farmers have headed to the local inn for the time being. We're going to be headed there anyways, so no, chill out. Wrong button. Chill out. Get us some Settler's Arrow. Okay. Oh, we can just go in? But they can't? Oh, there's a bunch of people. Another man stands before you, his relatively stocky build suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises the club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back if you value your life. Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. Put that down before you get yourself hurt. I don't like being threatened. Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. Alright, chill out, bruh. Come on, man. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club a fraction. Who are you? Is Swainer roping foreigners into his little crusade now? What was all that ruckus outside? My name is Outsider Antics, traditional medieval name. I've only just arrived in Gilded Vale. I thought you could use some help. Those people out there seem pretty angry. Maybe we just try to... They're asking who I am, so I'm just going to say this. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vale's had all its shine scraped off. Just a big dung heap now. And Swainer thinks he's king of it. They're all of them mad. What was all that ruckus outside? Party gained 25 experience. Trumbull shakes his head. Where to begin? Swainer's whipped them up into a froth, going on about the grain stores. Claims I've hidden away most of it. Continue. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale. And Swainer and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town. Crops blighted, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers, Trumbull gestures sacks and containers, it's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough good grain to go around. Swainer's howling after things he has no right to. So maybe I ought to have a talk with Swainer then. Seems like a pretty clean story for a messy situation. If you don't want those people in here with torches, maybe you ought to stop lying to me. Oh. I see. I had other questions. Huh. That's tough. I feel like you have to take what most people say with a grain of salt, right? You can't just believe everything you hear, correct? So, I mean, I also don't want to call them liars. Had other questions? Yes? Who's Swainer? The dwarf, the one standing out there spreading lies among the villagers. Guy's been here for decades and he hasn't got any kinder with time. Maybe I'll have to go have a talk with Swainer then. Get both sides of the story? Miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore. Maybe you'd have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it if you can convince him. I don't know that I entirely believe them. It seems like that is the situation, but we will find out. What's over here? Anything? Anything? Nope. Okay. Let's look at our map. There are probably some things over here. Let's just go take a look. Villager. Crops are blighted, the legacy is upon us, this place is cursed. Who are you? Ooh, Rudolfer Necator. What a name. As you near, you feel a vibrant history containing the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Reach out for the soul. You see a pair of immaculately polished leather boots and an impeccably maintained goatee. Their owner, a slightly hook-nosed man with a wicked grin and narrow eyes. He bobs his feathered hat at a nearby merchant as he ambles by. A small piece of parchment held tight in his fist, ink staining his fair fingers. He seems to know most of the merchants in the market, stopping to engage some, nodding at others, and even bartering for minor goods with a select few, always smiling, laughing, and exchanging jibes. He approaches a heavy-set Amaua, smile plastered stiff across his face, and jokes about the weather. She jokes back, subtly palming him several gold coins. When he walks away, the paper in his hand is gone, and the smile on his face far more genuine. He tips his cap at her, winking, and trundles off with a new spring in his step. Fishy. Doran Chamberlain. As you near, yeah, we read this every time. Reach out for the soul. You see a large crowd gathered in the middle of a courtyard. This man stands in the midst of them, a cloak pulled over his head, holding it close around his neck. The crowd has congregated around a platform, and they all watch, transfixed as a man is led to the platform, flanked by 2 city guardsmen. The man is shackled hand and foot, but carries himself as a nobleman, not deigning to even glance at the crowd. The cloaked man pulls his cover closer around his face and turns to leave, hunching over to avoid being seen. A crier on the platform unrolls a parchment and begins to read, but the man pays no attention, intent on getting away from the courtyard. The crier's voice grows louder and more intense as he reads, and voice from the crowd start to punctuate his sentences. The jeers and shouts grow more frequent, and with each one, the cloaked man flinches and his shoulders droop. He breaks from the crowd, coming to the edge of the courtyard as the crier reaches the end of his proclamation. The crowd grows silent again, save for the occasional shout. The man turns back to look at the platform, seeing his father kneeling before the block, neck exposed. The executioner moves into position, lifting his axe to strike. The man turns suddenly, unable to watch. There is a wet thunk, and the crowd breaks into cheers and applause. He leans against the wall, regaining his composure, then straightens up. With obvious resolve, he strides off away from the crowd and his legacy. Wow. Intense. Did you hear the bells? Bad news, I think. I heard they fended off another attack on Lord Raedric's keep. What we got right here? Yeah, there's a house here. We can't go in them, but let's see if there's anything up around here. Doesn't appear so. Please just stick on my character. Goodness. Let's grab that. What is this? Goldratt Chew. Effect. Move Goldratt Chew. Crash. Plus 3 might for 600 seconds, plus 1 move speed for 600 seconds, negative 2 perception for 600 seconds, Goldratt True Crash after 600 seconds. Okay. Take that. I'm gonna grab that. There we go. Oh, we can go in here. Excuse me, chat. I apologize. Lots of reading. Not gonna lie, my throat is getting a bit dry. Let's talk to these individuals. Look at this first. Rats scurry behind the sacks. That looks like a lot of grain. As you near, you feel a vibrant history. Yes, let's reach out for the soul. See a crowded marketplace, vendor stalls lining the road, their proprietors' voices calling out to passerby to come sample their wares. This woman wanders through the throngs, strolling hand in hand with another woman. They peruse the vendor's goods, tarrying at a book merchant with a number of old and beautiful tomes, chattering with one another about what they see. One will pick up a book and show it to the other, who will take it, comment on it, and place it back on the shelf. Then the first will snatch up the book again and quickly pay the merchant before the other can snatch it back. They walk away from the market, weighed down by packs filled with books, still hand in hand, standing close, comfortable, and familiar with each other. Oh, this is a long one. Man. As they pass down a somewhat deserted street, an object suddenly hits this woman in the chest and bounces off, rolling away towards one of the buildings. The women stop and look at the object, an apple, and then back up at the person who threw it. There's nothing special about him aside from the angry look on his face and the 2 other apples he holds. Before either woman can move, the man draws back and throws another one at them, this time hitting the second woman in the forehead. Nice shot. I mean, that's not good that he's hitting women, but must have a pretty good arm. Accuracy. His accuracy stat is high. That's what I'm getting at. He yells at them, something derisive and hateful. Something about a legacy and about responsibilities. The woman raises her hand to her head and wipes the juice and bits of fruit from her face and stares the man down defiantly. The first woman squeezes her hand and puts the other on her companion's shoulder, attempting to calm her down. The other woman pulls a book from her pack and holds it before her, muttering under her breath. She pulls her hand free and waves it above the book, an aura forming around her. The first woman is still trying to calm her down, but all she says goes unheard. The man, uncaring of the events happening in front of him, draws back and throws the last apple. As it arcs through the air toward them, the second woman brings up her hand and points at the apple. A glowing orb of energy flies from her hand and strikes the apple, causing it to explode, raining bits of apple down on the road and buildings around them. Sweet. The man's face changes, anger joined by fear. Yeah, looking like he's trying to decide if running or attacking is the better course of action. The second woman started chanting again, her hand glowing, her eyes narrowing. This woman steps in front of her, placing herself between her love and their attacker. She touches her face, gently stroking it while whispering calming words. A kiss. The woman's countenance changes. She calms, her eyes softening, her lips regaining the lost smile. The first woman smiles again, as well, and kisses the other. Wizard scum. The man behind them says, and the 2 women turn to face him, staring him down defiantly. They join hands and begin walking again, moving past him without so much as a sideways glance. Right on. Edlin Proston. As you near, yes, reach out. You see a key turn gently, steady, and hear a ghostly click as the door swings inward. 2 figures slip in, locking the door behind them, and begin their prowl. Their hunt is efficient, and it takes them little time to acquire a sizable collection of documents and oddly shaped velvet pouches. Quick hands fill pockets, rucksacks, bags. The door opens downstairs, and everything freezes. Footsteps, a tired giggle. The thieves are all wide-eyed and short-breathed as they empty their pockets of all the necessities. Anything noisy hurriedly replaced. Silence from downstairs, then tentative steps up the staircase. A voice calls out. One thief creeps forward, the other gesticulating wildly for him to return. He continues forward, crouching by the banister. He sees a gaudy shoe and shoves. The woman falls with a cut-off scream, rolling lifelessly to the floor below. Swearing, the second thief grabs her brother, and they make their escape, collecting whatever of value they can on the way out. Wow. Man, that's a couple of stories right there. Matt Scurry behind the sacks. That looks like sacks of grain. Now, no, we're not stealing. We do not steal. We do not steal.
Quietly now.
Yeah.
Not a sound.
What I do want to see. Nope. Well, we're going to read this. Direwood Part 3. The War of Black Trees and the Rise of Admeth Hadrat. After the Broken Stone War, Direwood would see peace and prosperity for 21 years. Aside from the occasional slave uprising or border dispute, nothing of any note happened until 2652 AI. Some of the Direwooden earls, tired of being restricted by the treaties and encouraged by imperial sources, defied the decrees and actively sent people to loot the ruins in the Direwood. Response from the Glenfathans was not immediate, but when it came, it was brutal and bloody. There was a slave uprising, and Regid resumed control of his guerrilla fighters. A contingent of Delimgan joined the forces as well, making the fights in the forest even more deadly for the Direwooden soldiers. Oh my goodness. Edrin, then far too old to lead the Direwood into the war, sent his son Admeth to deal with the situation. Admeth, showing the same tactical prowess as his father, set fire to the forest at the Iski War River. I butchered that, I'm sure, and then blocks the forces retreating from the Inferno. Some of the Glenfathans escaped, but thousands would die in a blaze. Regid is captured and sent to holding in New Heomar. Heomar. The goes on for several months, and Admeth uses the same tactic many times to flush Glenfathans and Delimgan from the battlefield. The entire war lasts less than a year. The Direwood eventually wins, but at a terrible price. This conflict would come to be known as the War of Black Trees. Tragedy struck the Direwood in 2654 when Edrang, whose health had been waning, succumbed and passed into the cycle. Reg, who had developed a begrudging respect for his constant adversary over the years, had fought, sent Admeth his sincere condolences from captivity in New Heomar. Admeth assumed his father's place as grief over the Direwood. The other earls disliked his development and began publicly rebuking Admeth's decrees. In 2655 AI, Admeth, tired of the problems caused by the reluctant earls, but having support of the new Valian dukes and the common folk of Direwood, having saved them from the Glenfathans, delivers an ultimatum to the Verkoning of Adir. He demands to be made a grief palatine. This move would give him authority and power over all the earls, their holdings, and their titles. Direwood would become a Palatinate instead of a Griffram. The Furkoning, who did not want to have to deal with a rebellion while trying to establish a hold on the Vorlus trade network and Reedceris, begrudgingly agreed to Admeth's demands. Admeth would use his new power to bring all the Earls in line. As a trade-off for being given the power, Admeth put money and resources into all the Direwoods ports to increase shipping traffic. In turn, this increased the Furkoning's income. Ooh, man, this is a long one. I apologize, chat. I need another drink. Under Admeth's rule, Direwood saw 7 productive and profitable years. In 2662 AI, he did what had been tried for many years without success, bringing slavery to an end in the Direwood. Nice. He negotiated the 10 Years' Treaties, so called because it has been 10 years since the War of Black Trees. A timeline was established in which the slaves will be released. The owners would be compensated with money or land for each slave released. If they did not comply, the slaves would be taken and a fine would be levied against the owner. In return, the Glenfathens would open trade with the Direwood and cede some of their territories to the Direwooden government. In practice, meaning they would stop contesting the presence of those who lived and ruled there. Hundreds of Coopers attempted to rebel against this. Admeth, expecting just such a reaction, reacted accordingly, and the rebellion was quickly crushed. His agents then spread propaganda throughout the populace, making the Coopers' rebellion and its instigators seem far worse than they truly were. This tactic worked, and there would be no more trouble. All right, cool. That was very long. Let's get out of there. So, Icy Grain in there. But this is the field. These are the fields as well. This is... I can't talk. Reading too much. It's affecting my ability to speak. Correctly, anyways. Alfira's house. Let's go there. Yeah. We'll work our way there. Oh gosh. Here we go, here we go. Let's quit doing this. Please, stick on my character. Man. Reach out for the soul. You see a lone man standing in a field. He looks around, surveying the crops. Occasionally he bends to examine a leaf up close. He is intent on what he is doing, completely absorbed in his work. This man approaches him from behind. He moves slowly, but does nothing to mask his approach. In his hand, he holds a large sword. There appears to be no malice or hatred in the man's demeanor. He almost seems pleased. The first man hears his approach and stands, turning away from the plant he was inspecting. His face breaks into a smile, and he opens his arms to welcome the approaching man. The smile freezes into a grimace as the second man thrusts the sword through his stomach, its blade now protruding from his back. His arms slowly fall to his side, and blood starts to drip from the sword onto the plants below the men. As the first man crumples to his knees, the second pulls the sword out, a tear slowly falling down the cheek of his still smiling face. Wow. Wow. Reach out for the soul. This is Clink. You see a small group of people gathered around... Oh, man. You see a small group of people gathered around the ruins of a house. The destruction continues out from the single dwelling through the entire village. Not a single building still stands. Rubble is scattered everywhere. One of the men in the group leans over something in the debris, and it is this man, younger, barely more than a boy. The man reaches out and shakes the boy by the shoulder. The boy makes no sound and doesn't respond to the man's disturbance. The man looks up at the other members of the group and shrugs, standing to rejoin his friend. The boy suddenly sits up, eyes wide. He scrabbles backward, away from the group, looking around in horror. The group moves toward him in unison, eliciting a yelp from the boy, who tries to move further away. The woman in the group puts out her hands, stopping the rest. She turns to them reproachfully, motions for them to stay, then looks at the boy on the ground, who is trying to push himself through what remains of a wall. He seems unaware he has even stopped. The woman slowly moves toward the boy, hands out, speaking in a low, calming tone. For a time, the boy doesn't even hear. He just closes his eyes and braces himself against the wall, expecting violence. Eventually, the woman's words work through the fear, and he hears her. He opens his tear-filled eyes and stares at her. She holds out a hand to him. He looks at it, seemingly confused by the offer, then hesitantly reaches out. She takes his hand in hers and leans down to help him stand. Okay. Whew, so much reading, chat. For you. Off. Cat. Hello, cat. This is Pig Cat. You're not still. What is this? This worn dog-eared book is titled Travels Upon the Sedgless Sea. There is an etched illustration of a vast finned leviathan. Ooh. Offer. Dire wooden woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly quite pregnant. You shouldn't assume that. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Gods keep you.
Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise when she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry, I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? Nice cat. Hopper smiles brightly. Oh, thank you. She's a sweetheart. Keeps the house clear. Nice, too. Right on. I just arrived in Gilderville. I thought I'd get to know the locals. Were you with one of the caravans? She looks at you, hopefully. Master Odima's, by chance. Why do you ask? My sister, Kaliska. Kalissa. No! Was traveling with one of the caravans. She sent a letter before she came. She said she was going to pay her way by working as guard for the caravan master. She always was a tough one. She pauses. I don't suppose you've seen her on the road. Or the caravan, perhaps. It's Master Odima's. We have different options here of breaking the news. I don't want to lie. Liska was not caught in the bioweapon. I'm just gonna, I think, say Lissa didn't make it. Offer covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments, she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I knew. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kalissa was always so certain she could take on any danger. Offer sniffs. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I had called her here. If I hadn't written to her, she might still be alive somewhere. Offer's face crumples, and a solitary tear slides down the cheek. Melissa mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I could provide some assistance. Offer looks at you with some surprise before dabbing her nose with a sleeve. That's kind of you to offer, but I don't know if I could impose this on you. It's not a small favor. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kalissa as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilderfell has been soulless, empty. It's happened to so many mothers, and Lord Redrick, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavor. With my Haythorpe gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I hope Kalissa would help me. They say Renga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being colorblind, but she moved south to Anslaw. Slots and Sloods. Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't have anyone else now with Calissa gone. More tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? Find Ranga for you. Well, if I cannot guide you there, I must at least bring you this cure. That's a long ways to go. What's in this for me now? I'll think about it if I ever head that way. I'm not one for charity. Handle this yourself. Oh, man. No way, man. Calissa was awesome. We're definitely going to help out Sis here. I don't want to promise that we can bring the cure. I'm afraid that's too much because we must at least bring you this cure. I mean, that would be great, but I'll find Ranga for you. Offer blinks eyes wide, you will? Oh, gods bless you. Here, I'll give you coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of. Well, I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. Enslug's compass, Enslug's, I think that's what it is, Enslug's. Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. She clasps her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. A mother's plea.
Well met, friend.
Any chance you could tell me a few things about Gilded Vale? I could certainly try. What would you like to know? Tell me about the village. Let me think. We're farmers, mostly. There's always been work and opportunity for people coming in from elsewhere. In the old days, at least, the Black Hammer Smithery's been here for a long time. That's Twatanu's place, south of the mill. Yes, we've been there. Whose lands are these? The Radric family has held title over these lands for generations. Their keep is northeast of here, past the eastern wood. She holds up a hand. I wouldn't go near, mind. He doesn't see visitors or petitioners, not these days. I don't have any more questions. I'll be going. Okay. Alright. Well, that's that. Let's talk to villager. You think these rains... Oh, okay. Be boons for the crop. Villager. Used to have a lot more fortune tellers coming through. Lord Radric had us chase them off. Same exact thing. Then I told her, okay, I missed that. The crops are blighted, the legacy is upon us. I heard they fended off another, yeah, okay. They tend to just say the same thing, don't they, really? Yeah. All of the NPCs that just hang around. Let's see what's going on in here. Black Hound. This hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up when you approach and whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. Pet the dog. Dog's tail thumps happily against floorboards. Maybe we don't want to be up here yet. Let's wait a second. Let's go downstairs. Or maybe we do. Maybe if we go downstairs, it initiates some kind of thing when we're not able to get stuff done. These bones are covered in tiny bite marks. Oh, reach out for the soul. You see a long empty road cutting through the two large crop fields. The air is silent and the land seems still too still for early afternoon. This woman walks slowly on the road, leading a horse, curiously looking around. She seems to sense something wrong, but is unable to discern what it is. She stops, sniffling at the air, her nose high. Her brow crinkles, and she casts about, looking for something. The air is clear. No clouds. She sniffs again, still looking around, confusion clouding her face, mouthing a single word, fire. She looks out across the field, her confusion turning to fear. She holds her hand up to block the sun from her eyes and scans the fields again, not finding what she was looking for. She jumps onto her horse's back, fear quickly becoming panic. She kicks, sending the horse shooting down the path, which bends around some trees to where the farmhouse should be. She pulls up short, horror now in residence on her face as she stares at the burned and charred mess that used to be her family's home. Tears well in her eyes as she kicks again, racing to the road. You see an emaciated boy in chains, black holes for eyes, staring sightlessly at a wall. A man in a dark coat walks in, a scroll and an oddly shaped quill in his hand. The boy glances at him, expressionless, a corpse waiting for animation. The man clucks at him, disapproval clear in his tone. The boy stands, limbs hanging. The man takes the quill and begins to write on the boy's chest, copying sharp, angular symbols from the scroll. The child doesn't flinch as the quill digs into his skin, drawing blood as it goes. The wizard flinches with a flourish and barks some arcane command, setting the symbol to glow dully. The boy cries out, knees hitting the stone hard, his chest burning black and red. Finally, the glow disappears, leaving only hard black scars etched into his skin. He slumps sideways, twitching, eyes facing the back of his skull. The wizard grunts, kicking him on the leg on his way out. The boy lies on the floor until dawn, eyes still black like holes, the twitching growing into convulsive shakes. Jeez! Brutal. And another. You see a man soar through the air, hitting a nearby wall with a nauseating crunch. He doesn't get up. His attacker, a burly, clean-cut warrior with a carnivorous grin, turns and shoves his fist into the stomach of another assailant, removing another from the impromptu brawl. The bar is a whirlwind of elbows, knees, fists, and feet with no end in sight, and he is in his element. In the corner, three smaller men speak quietly, throwing malicious glances at the larger man in the center. He breaks a chair over a tattooed head, cackling. The trio position themselves in three parts of the room, and with a terse nod, they charge. Unfortunately for them, the man sees them coming. Something in his eyes burns brightly, and all three slump to the ground in an agony that's all in their minds. The burly man bows to a room of the unconscious and incapacitated before sauntering out, off-key whistle trailing behind him. Wow, okay. Hey. Oh man, Direwood Part 1. It just doesn't end, chat. The reading never ends. Woo! It's a bit brutal. Ah, man. Ah, holy moly. All right. So, Part 1, Early Colonial History, Direwood. Oh, how much? I'm not reading this right now. We're just taking it. Sorry. I need a break for a second. Crammed behind the books is a drawing that shows Ethos and Lord Raedric in a compromising position. Really? Okay. Wowzers. Lord Raedric. Okay. So there's something for us to potentially get out of there. "10 Years of Dawn." I'm gonna have to read some of these books tomorrow. I just don't have it in me. Been reading a lot today. End guest. Please leave me be. No problem. No problem. Excuse me. Rouser. Grab a drink, friend. Not much else of worth in this town. Says the woman from Thane. Hey, we said we wouldn't mention Thane. Okay, same thing. Doesn't matter who you talk to. Roaches scatter and flee under the crates. Okay, that was it. Please stick on my character. Oh, that's very frustrating. Let's go down. Phew! Lots of reading in this place. Oh, man. Strong Brightblade. We'll probably read the books that we just got tomorrow morning at the start of the stream. You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. Carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing, and as he does, lets the arrow fly. It hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking toward the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. Noise comes from the tree line near their practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest. Immediately, lost among the trees, there is sudden, explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about the lousy shot. They stop talking, seeing him holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he looses his last arrow, which flies true, strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing heart and lungs, and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds, then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed. Taking stock of her inventory, potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room haphazardly. She bites her lip. I take a drink. Head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack, one item after the other, careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more. One hand held to her mouth, tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can into the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to any who will listen. Anyone heading out on high tide less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. Okay. Drunkard. And who are you then? Another fool come to answer Redrick's invitation. Oh, great lord, had my sister run out of town after the buoy was born. She was the only family I had left. Not sure where she is now. Blazes, I need another drink. Good to see new faces around. Potion of Wizard's double. Instant. Plus 40 deflection until hit or critically hit. Creates a duplicate of the caster to distract enemies, granting the caster a high deflection bonus against a single attack. Okay. Nice and dry in here. Okay, these are the individuals that we need to talk to about the granary or the mill. Beg pardon, don't have much time for talking. We'll take that. I'm gonna hold. Oh, whatever. Let's just talk to him. You're not an L. I don't have business with you. Dr. Swainer, if you've got something
Good
to say.
day to you.
Don't know who you are and don't much care. Keep walking. We're not here to chat with foreigners. Saw you outside of the mill. What was that about? Well, someone fancies themselves a meddler, eh? What's that about? It's about Trumbull thinking he's king of the town, on account of he's got the mill to his name. The dwarf's jowls quivering with rage. It's about him barely giving us anything for the wheat we bring him, and then cutting our purses when we need to buy grain. It's about farmers going hungry while some guys get rich off their crops. That's what it's about. Now shove off. What if I buy you all around? Will you talk to me then? Swainer considers it briefly. He looks to the others. Fair enough. You bring us something to wet our throats. And might be I'll fill up to trading words. Okay. I really want to figure out what is definitely going on there. Can we? Okay. Please, please, please just stick on my character. That's so annoying. Ah, it's you, my savior. You made a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. The party has gained a recipe, savory pie. A savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Okay. Cool. Spoons hang by the fire, coated in brownish gunk. Some kind of brown slop is congealing in these dishes. It smells burnt.
Hail, traveler.
Pasca. Hello and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you. Tinfrith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tinfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So what would you like? Oh, halfling, hi. Oh, cool, halfling. Sorry, I didn't see, thank you very much for following, by the way. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to have you here. And thanks for the insight there. Buoy, I didn't know was a slur for Hollowborn. Very cool. Neat. Very, very cool. Awesome. I hope your day's going well. Glad to have you. I'm running out of... There's so much reading. I knew there was a lot of reading in this game, but you don't really understand until you get into it and start reading all of it. I'm glad that you're hanging out with us, and I hope you're enjoying the content. I feel like this part's a little bit slow, so I'm sorry for everybody that's hanging out, you know. But I feel like the lore and everything is kind of important to the story, and so I'm trying to work my way through this as fast as possible so we can move forward with getting into more of the action part of the game. So, good. I'm glad you're good. Glad you're good. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Yeah. I feel like I'm losing my voice just a tad bit from all the reading, but I'm, I've been wanting to play this game for a very long time. I saved it in the hopes that at some point I would be able to stream it, and here we are. So I'm very excited to be able to be playing this game in a streaming setting. So I'm very glad that to have you here, and thank you very much for following. I appreciate it. Everybody that's hanging out, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm trying my best to keep the reading going as quickly as possible. Thanks for letting me know that Bowie is a slur in the game for Hollowborn. Really cool. Didn't know. Very, very neat. Thank you for the insight. It's one of the great things I feel about having people come in and be a part of the community is the insights that they provide for some of the things that I'm not aware of when I play these games, you know? I was actually wondering, that's a really cool name, and I was figuring, you know, there's got to be a lot of people that tried to get that name, probably, and that's very neat, very neat. Yeah, very cool, very cool. Yeah, that's really neat. I didn't even remember. That's hilarious. Yeah, I have another account. When I first got into Twitch, I made an account but it was just to like watch, you know, just to watch people play games that, once I decided that, you know, this was something I might want to pursue, I made this account. I decided on my alias, moniker, whatever you want to call it, and, you know, got my other accounts, made sure I could get all my other accounts with the same thing for Twitter and Gmail and all that stuff. And so I've got an old one, but I don't even know if I remember the name of it anymore. Very glad you're here, though, Halfling. Thank you very much for the information. That's really neat. I had no idea. Glad your day's going well also. Oh, so decisions here. I could use some reliable help. Do you know of anyone looking for work? I would like to know more about the Black Hound. I'd like to buy a round for the fine fellows over there. Could I see what you have for sale? So we've got a lot of options. Let's start with Black Hound. Cool, cool. Yeah, thanks very much for the follow. I appreciate it too. You know, I love RPGs, and at the heart of my inner gamer child, it's you know, RPG or through and through. But I play all kinds of games. We just did like a week long of Enter the Gungeon, and I had a blast playing Enter the Gungeon. Obviously, you could play an absurd amount of hours in a game like that. Most roguelites are like that, though, right? But we did a lot. Yeah. You know, it's built in terms of, you know, it's like a lot of the old RPGs were. Yeah, dark fantasy. Yeah, I was so excited to play it. That's why I was telling my wife last night. I was like, man, I'm really excited to start this game tomorrow morning for the stream. You know, I was pretty elated to dive into this today. So it's been a good time, and I know it's kind of slow right now because of all the reading and everything, but I have no doubt that we're about to move past a lot of this, I think, and actually get into more of the action side of the game, you know. But we got to get that backstory down first, which I think we've done a lot of today. So, and the character creation took a while too. There was so much good stuff in the character creation. It was tough. Choices were very tough for character creation. If you don't know what our character is, Halfling, I don't know how long you've been hanging out in the channel. If you're going to be around for just a moment after I finish this interaction here with Pasca, I'll bring up the character screen and show you what we've decided our character is. So I'll show you what our character is as far as race and class and all of that stuff. Let's look. Oh, okay. Wow. Really? Well, let me see. The actual building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here too. Fewer than we used to, I'll admit. Continue. 10th, the big draw. I'm sure we'll get the big crowds back again in no time. I used to work the tables, actually, until the old owner up and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him. Have you checked the tree? Yeah, that does not surprise me, Halfling. Yeah, you know, so if you're not aware, our character is a paladin. And really, I gravitate in RPGs. I like to play a lot of different kinds of characters. It just really depends. I love summoners. I always have. Especially since, like, Diablo 2, right? Diablo 2 had me really... I loved playing a Necro in Diablo 2, and it really sold summoners for me. So I've always enjoyed playing summoners since then. And but very, very early in my childhood, playing some early Final Fantasy games turned me on to paladins. So every once in a while, we play. I have to play a paladin. It's nostalgic for me, and so we ended up playing a paladin for this run. Oh, you love chanters? Yeah. Probably so. It was something I considered at the start of this. Let's work our way through this, and then I'll pull up the character screen and show you. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not surprised at your rogue choice. I love rogues too. Rogues are really cool, man. So many different ways that you can build rogues too, right? Very versatile and so good with the stealth and everything, you know? Rogues are really neat. I like playing a rogue every once in a while myself. I used to work the tables, actually, until the old owner up and left. Oh, yeah. Even left his poor hound behind. That's the name, see? The Black Hound. It's still sitting upstairs, pining after him. Poor old girl. There's something to do here with this hound. Place ended up in my hand somehow. She laughs. My very own man. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Is it where you like? Let's see. Yeah. I figured as much. I feel that flanking probably plays well into about any rogue that you would build. Yeah. That makes sense. And, you know, for me playing these games, kind of what I was telling everybody at the start of the day was, it's not so much for me about the meta of what's most powerful for the game, per se. And I'm playing on hard. And on expert mode. This is the first time I've ever played the game. I started the game up years ago for a few hours and just didn't have the time to put into it. I was working full time. It was just too hard to stick into the story and everything. So I didn't play very much of it at all. So for me, it's just more about picking something that sounds fun, you know, and trying to stick with it. So for this, that's what I did. It's not necessarily about what's most powerful or anything like that. And hey, for some people, that's what they enjoy to do, and you know, more power to them. You know, I absolutely understand that. For me, it's just about trying to play something that I think sounds fun. Yeah, the lore is so good. I'll say that streaming this is probably keeping me more engaged in the lore than had I played it and not streamed it, you know, for a community. Because I feel obligated to read it all, right? Yeah, and that's my thing, right? I'm playing as a paladin, so, and the backstory that we selected, I'm trying to play as a good person too, so not stealing anything, and you know, I'll show you in just a moment. I can use some reliable help. Do you know of anyone looking for work? Oh, well, I wouldn't say I can speak from experience, but we do have certain sorts coming by looking for work from time to time. If you want to hire someone on, I'd be happy to send them your way. let me see what I have to work with. Level 1 adventure, 250 copy. So you can recruit adventurers, and do you just get to create a new character? Is that how this works? No way. Ah. We're going to hold off for a second, because I don't want to get back into character creation right now. I'm 7.5 hours into my stream right now. I don't want to get sidetracked with developing another character right now. We'll probably do that at the first of our stream tomorrow. But let's continue on here. Let's see. Party management, retraining. Rooms. I just want to go back and talk to her.
Greetings.
Late for dinner. Task completed. Cool. Hire some help. Blackhound. See what you have for sale. Find something you're liking with finest cook in Direwood. Yes, I saved him. Cool. So you can... Oh, they have all kinds of stuff to buy. Probably be good to stock up on an amount of things, I would assume here before we take off. I'm not going to buy anything just yet. Let's go back.
Hail, traveler.
I'd like to buy a round for the fine fellows over there. Fine fellows, you're having me on. Any more fighting and I'll have to ban Sweener from the inn entirely. The innkeeper frowns. Until then, it's 6 copper pieces for the lot. I wonder if... Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Yeah, okay, yeah. I thought you had written something else, Halfling. Yeah, it just... So this is what I'll say. It depends on the kind of character I'm playing as far as how I want to play a character in the game. I'm a big fan of anti-heroes, right? So, not necessarily into bad guys, not necessarily into like heroes either though, right? I tend to enjoy characters that kind of play both sides of the field. But if I'm going to be like in an RPG and I'm playing a character like a paladin, traditionally they tend to be very good-natured classes of characters, right? So I try to stick in line with that. What I'm wondering here is if I talk to her and say, I'm not afraid of paying. What I'm wondering is if I say something like this, she might have some insight as to what this situation entails a bit more than what I've been able to find out so far anyways. If I can just get them talking, I might be able to convince them to stop harassing the miller. We'll just, I'm not looking for her to... Okay, that's fine. Let's go back over here and have a talk. Let's have a talk with old...
Good day
Grumpy.
to you.
I brought the drinks. Hey, so you have, by the flame. I never thought I'd be so happy for a mug of the Blackhound's crap beer. You have lost an item 3 times the beer. God, that's good. All right, then. You've got my attention. What is it you've got to say that's worth a round of drinks? Okay, so our options. Look, there's no sense in threatening the miller. You have him up against a wall. Maybe you could ask some of the other villagers for help. Maybe you could tell me more about what's going on. That's probably where we're going to go. Attack. You're a drunken menace and I'm putting you down. Or leave. Yeah, let's just try to get some more information. I think the miller is telling me the truth. I would hope so. But I take everything with a grain of salt. How do you not? It's like I said, Miller's in charge of the grain prices. He says they're fair, but I know for a fact that folks like Offra pay half what we do. Dwarf sighs. And maybe we've been a bit rough with him. But what are we supposed to do? We can't keep paying. We're going to starve. And do you think Trumble's going to be sorry about it when we do? No sense in threatening the miller. You have him up against a wall. Maybe you could ask some of the other villagers for help. I don't know. I mean, maybe do I talk to both sides and try to work it out for them? I don't think that there are a lot of other villagers that really care for this individual. So that's why I'm worried if I say, ask some of the other villagers for help, that Swainer's not necessarily going to get help from the other villagers because they might not necessarily care for this individual. Let's see if we can talk to Trumbull. You think you'll get through to him when we haven't? The man's thick as a peat bog. I hear he's got his soul red. Found his kin used to grow sunreed trees for their Adrian lords up until they figured out their side was losing. Explains why his knees still ache to bend to whatever lord or lady crosses the road. He'll be holed up in that mill for days, the coward. Dwarf eyes you consideringly. But here, if you want to give it a shot, then good luck. We'll owe you one if you manage it. It's worth a shot, is it not? It's worth a shot. Keep the peace. See if we can get both sides of this to come to an agreement. I'm trying to play that role in this game. Okay, so hey Halfling, are you still around? Might be busy or something. Oh, did we get level up too? Looks like we can level up again. Oh man. Oh baby.